How can I be useful to him? That's the only reason I was born. Hanging her head, Beatrice sat all alone in the Golden Lands arbor that was next to the rose garden. And this scene was watched by the witch of Firiko and her Miko as they sat across from each other.
Kawaisou子ね。
そなたがベアトに同情するとは思わなかった。
このベアトをかつてのベアトと同一人物と呼ぶのは酷な話だわ。
I mean, we did have that discussion with personalities and all that.
これは全くの別人じゃない。
It may be that, by the rules, this battle is the battle. Saying that would be horribly unfair to her.
かつての好敵手を蘇らせてこれではバトラも気がめいろうというも
の。お兄ちゃんの絶望も少しはわかる。でもこの子の気持ちもわかるの。人は決して誰かの身代わりにはなれない。それがたとえかつての自分であってもね。
Compared to the young boy and girl who have found new versions of themselves and called each other by their true names, this witch looked very feeble. The witch knew that she was an illusion created in the image of the person she once was. And she also knew that it would only hurt Battler to try and pretend to be that person.
それでもこのベアトはバトラの役に立ちたいと思っている。けなげな話だ。
それがベアトリーチェという魔女の意味なの。
彼女はそうだと自称している。自分はバトラの役に立つために生まれてきたと。
お兄ちゃんのために生まれてきたベアトがやがては連続殺人を犯し、お兄ちゃんに永遠の拷問と称しておかしなゲームに引きずり込む。意味わかんないわ。
1000年を経れば人は別人にもなり得るとそなたも理解しているはず。
At the very least, Beatrice was once a pure creature who was born for Beller's sake. It is also very clear that, in her current feeble state, she does not possess any of the courage or the motivation needed to bring about those horrifying serial murders. I mean, okay. I did talk about this before, of how this Beatrice reminds me of the Beatrice that we've seen, like, in the past, like in Kuodorian. Now, can I say that they are the one and the same? Nah. This one feels a lot more childish than the other Beatrice that I was thinking of, the one that ran with Rosa. I just feel like the difference here would be the length of time in their lives. This one is definitely more like new in comparison to the Beatrice that we've seen who talked to Rosa at Kuodorian. That Beatrice was still innocent, but she was definitely thinking about some stuff. It was definitely shown on her face that she had experienced some stuff before, and she was questioning kins and all that. I do remember that now. But can I really say that this Beatrice, this new Beatrice, is a Beatrice that I haven't seen before? Or was there some Beatrice that personality was the same as this one? I honestly cannot even remember. Like, you know, I joke about there being 50 Beatrices and all that, and I don't want to go that far to say that, but man, I don't even know. Like, I feel like there's been so many Beatrices that have such subtle differences that I couldn't tell apart, maybe. So I don't know. If so, that means the sinister witch we all know must have changed during the 1,000 years since her birth.
1000年とか偉そうな単語がよく出てくるけど、 魔女の世界ではどうも長い月日を示す別称として使われてる気がするわ。
神の世界に近づけば近づくほどに時間の概念は曖昧になる。
I mean, from a human perspective, it's a figure of speech, I guess you can call it. Like, when you feel like you have been doing something for like forever, you didn't do it for forever. It is a very long time, so... Similarly to 1,000 years would be the equivalent of a person's lifetime. 18, 19 years, 12 years, it depends.
6年も1000年となるし、1000年がほんの一眠りにもなる。ほんの2週間の月日でさえも100年の魔女を名乗るにふさわしい永遠となり得るのだ。
In other words, the pure battle transformed into the cruel battle. During those 6 years that could be called 1,000. So does that mean something bad happened during those 6 years that made her hate Oni-chan? Yeah.
納得いかないわ。その6年間、お兄ちゃんは六軒島はおろか、後宮家の席から抜けてさえいるのよ。その変化にお兄ちゃんは何の関係もない。
I mean, can we say that? Even if Beller was not with Beatrice during those 6 years, it was exactly 6 years ago that Bella must have done something to Beatrice that would make, well, I wouldn't say that would make Beatrice hate Beller. I can't say that. I don't know if I want to say that, but nonetheless, like they stayed apart, both Beller and Beatrice. Beller had nothing to do with Beatrice anymore from 6 years ago onward. But he did commit a sin 6 years ago.
全くの逆恨みだわ。
おや、こちらにおいででしたか。お紅茶でもお入れしましょうか。
熊沢さん、知りたいことがあります。
はいはい、何でしょうか。
私はベアトリーチェという名前なんですよね。
そうですとも。お嬢様はベアトリーチェ様でございますとも。
でもお父様が口にするベアトリーチェという人物は私のことではありません。
それは。
お父様は私にその人であってほしかったように思います。だから私がその人にどれほど似ていても別の人間なので失望されたのではないでしょうか。
そんなことはございませんよ。お嬢様はお嬢様、ベアトリーチェ様ご自身ですとも。新しくお生まれ変わりになるとき、以前の記憶を失ってしまっただけでございますよ。たとえ記憶をなくされようとも、お嬢様はベアトリーチェ様、親方様の愛されるお方と同一人物でございますとも。
その記憶というのはどうやれば取り戻すことができますか。
それは。
Beto looked at Kumasawa with hopeful eyes, as though praying that she would tell her the way. Kumasawa averted a gaze unhelpfully, as though trying to say that she would if only such a way existed.
取り戻すことができないなら、せめて お父様の愛したベアトリーチェがどのような人物だったかを教えてください。
それならお話はできますけれど。
私はお父様のために生まれてきました。だからお父様の望む黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェになりたいんです。
ベアトリーチェ様。
私に魔法は使えません。でもお父様の望む魔女が使えるならそれを学びましょう。私はお父様の望む魔女になります。それがお父様に産んでもらったことへの私が示せる唯一のご恩返しです。けなげじゃない。1000年を間違えなきゃ最高にいい子だわ。
魔女のヒナ、なかなか面白きかな。気に入ったぞ、エンジェ。そのヒナの娘に我が諸子を許すがいい。魔女の世界へ帰る扉を開いてやるがよかろうぞ。
Allow this chick to make use of your study? What?
彼女自身にかつての彼女の物語を朗読させようというわけね。
Wait, you're saying that we're gonna have Beatrice be with us doing the commentary as well?
なるほど。私も知りたいわ。黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェを作る物語。
いいでしょう。あなたが望むならば扉を再び開きましょう。
熊沢さん。
A spray of gold welled up around him. It was a cloud of gold butterflies. With golden flesh, the form of the old lady transformed into that of a witch in a dress. Hey, Virgilia.
あなたの進むべき道はあなたが決めなさい。それはおそらくバラの道。美しく咲き誇ったバラがあなたを祝福するかもしれないし、その棘であなたを苛むかもしれない。しかしそれでもあなたがいつかたどった道、その結果同じ1000年を経てもいい、異なる1000年を経てもいい、望むなら道を引き返してもいい。
進みます。私はこの庭で1000年お茶を飲んでいるだけで過ごしたくないんです。お父様のためにこのベアトリーチェは生まれてきました。だからお父様のために生きようと思います。教えてください、黄金の魔女。
The great witch spread her arms, communicating Beatrice's unbending determination to the brilliant heavens. At that moment, a brilliant light covered the two of them. Before they knew it, they were in a strange study. There sat the great old witch who was the master of these archives, along with her Miko. Hello, Beatrice! Welcome to the Umineko behind-the-scenes commentary room. Vegeta gave a deep and elegant bow.
拝謁、至極光栄に存じます。尊厳なる感激と戯曲と傍観の魔女、フェザリーヌ・アウグストゥス・アウローラ卿。表を上げよ、人の子よ。その娘にしばしの間我が諸子を自由に閲覧する資格を与えようぞ。我が巫女エンジェ、 その方に世話を命ず。
はいはい、お任せを、我が主。
As you wish, oh master.
素直にそなたの物語が見たいと言えばいいのに。
感激の魔女の巫女よ、ベアトリーチェをお預けします。
よろしくお願いします。あんたのなろうとしているベアトリーチェは彼女なりに何かを苦しんでいたわ。少なくとも今のあなたはその何かから解き放たれている。自らその枷を取り戻すために旅に出るの。
はい、私は黄金の魔女になりたいんです。それが私の生まれてきた理由です。
彼女の煉獄を巡る旅が快適であるよう、そして保護が与えられるよう、無限と有限の魔女プブリウス・ワルギリア・マロの名において要請します。
Publius Virgilia Maro?
感激の魔女の巫女にして無限の魔女反言の魔女見習いエンジェ・ベアトリーチェの名において了承する者なりやと立てまつったり踏んだり蹴ったり。
Federin snorted.
あなたもベアトリーチェという名を？
ええ、あなたのことはよく知ってるわ。
教えてください。私がどんな私だったのか。
ええ、だから教えて。あなたがどうしてあなたになったのか。
この書庫にはこれまでのそなたのゲームの物語のかけらがすべて書物として収められている。それを読むことでそなたはこれまで何があったかのすべてを知ることができるだろう。
それを読めば私は黄金の魔女になれますか？
黄金の魔女を継承するには黄金の碑文を解かねばならぬ。そしてその試練はたとえベアトリーチェ本人だとしても免れることは許されぬ。
頑張ります。ですから私に書庫の本を読ませてください。
本当にけなげだわ。わざわざあんなのになんで戻りたがるんだか。
その私がどんな自分だかは知りません。でもその自分がお父様のお役に立てるなら私はそれになりたいです。
I mean, the entire business with the whole father thing. Even if she is, like, she has been born like 3 days ago. She already calls Belle her father as if it's something natural that she was born with. It is not that she learned that, oh, Belle is your father. No, it doesn't feel like that. It's as if you are born, but not as a baby that doesn't know like much, but rather with like an initial memory of sorts. It's as if you are buying a computer with some stuff inside of it. It's not that everything inside the computer is like there's like nothing inside the computer and you have to create it. No, there is still some stuff in that computer, like some memory in there. Same case over here. Beatrice was created with a mindset of doing what she does for the sake of her father. That surely must be coming from somewhere. Now, when it comes to Bella, I honestly don't know what he's thinking right over here. Again, I was thinking that since he knows the truth, then he must know everything. Like all of his actions from now on has a purpose, but he's acting all surprised and angry about Chick Beatrice. So it kind of makes me question like how much Ballard actually knows out of the entire truth. And well, from what we have understood, this game over here, Game 6, is supposed to be a game created by Ballard to prove that he understands Beatrice. But I don't know, like I'm feeling a little bit worried now, Ballard. Like, this doesn't seem like the Ballard that I was expecting for someone who would know the entire truth and all that. That you would know why this Beatrice was created, and you know, you would love this Beatrice as well. And care for her, not act the way you do. And like, either way, the fact that Beatrice was created and her knowing that she has to do these things for the sake of her father, it must be coming from somewhere. Maybe it is part of the old rules. Angie sighed resignedly. She had no words with which to stop this girl from following her noble sense of purpose. After all, Angie was the Miko of the Witch of Theater going. She could do nothing except watch over the stage. Yeah, they weren't actually interfering with the play. This was just a bit of directing, to shine the spotlight onto the tale of battles past. Oh boy, are we actually gonna be going and like take a look at the battles past? Like, a bit more? Similarly to the scenes that we've seen with Kuwadori and Beatrice and all that? Well, I am pretty curious, indeed. I am definitely curious. Even this was nothing more than the Witch of Theater going watching a play.
読めばそなたはかつてのベアトリーチェがどのような人物だったかを知るだろう。しかしそこから何を得られるかはそなたが決めるがよい。書庫にとどまるも自由、立ち去るも自由、再び戻ることさえも自由だ。その対価として私はそなたを感激する。
感激とは？
要するに好きにしていいって意味よ。
ありがとうございます。青草、
フェザリーヌって呼ぶと喜ぶわよ。
ありがとうございます。フェザリーヌ様。
After being welcomed in by Federin, Battle set out on a journey to discover herself. That tale connected the old tale with the new one. Because, again, like, if Battler were to understand the truth, in my eyes, I think that he would be the one to tell this Beatrice the tale of the old Beatrice or something. But I don't know. Also, it kind of makes me feel like either it's what I was thinking before, or maybe Battler is just screwing with us. That she actually does know, and the way he treats this new Beatrice is not how he actually feels. That this is part of a grand plan, like he's playing 5D chess with us in similar fashion to the old battle in the previous games and such. Maybe. It wove them together. The 1,000-year-old tale about her returned to its starting point, becoming a snake eating its own tail. The ring of that snake began slowly, bit by bit, to turn into the shape of a small island floating on the sea. That island was Rokenjima. The 1,000 years of the witch born on this island were tied to the island. Was it 1,000 years? Or just 6? Or did this tale start even further back into the past? Well, it depends on what Beatrice, in my eyes. Beatrice went on a journey to find herself. I feel like if we are to truly understand Beatrice, we have to go deeper. Deeper, like long time ago, not just 6 years ago. Back when Kinzo was a young guy, and he was the new headmaster. The wind had been threatening since a while back. The breaking waves had grown fierce. The ferry boats probably wouldn't be coming for a while now. The sea was angry that day, my friends. The crashing thunder told that the island had been sealed off from the outside world. A thick rain poured down, mocking the fools outdoors who had to rush pathetically to find shelter. No longer would anyone be able to leave the silent. No longer would anyone be able to reach the silent. No one, unless blessed with a miracle. There was another flash of lightning. The retinas of all who saw it were filled with white. As that white faded away, the nearly silhouette pulled itself up at the raging water's edge. No, it cannot be. Could it be who I think it is? As though suddenly remembering, it coughed violently several times, fitfully spitting out the seawater that had filled its stomach. And then, tearing apart the velcro of her life jacket, she cast off the reason she had been able to float here without so much as a thank you. So you have returned, Erika. Erika! The news about the drifter, Furoro Erika, quickly spread across Okenjima. Erika was politely entertained, and it was decided that she would be treated as a guest until the typhoon passed. In the dining hall, Gona's wonderful dinner had ended, and everyone was relaxing and enjoying some after-dinner coffee and cheese. Apparently, Better was a bit relieved that Erika had come and turned into a good scapegoat. He drove away some of the attention he'd been getting piled on him for finally coming back after 6 years. In fact, she turned out to be very talkative. When the conversation turned to a sophisticated discussion of the mystery genre, even the adults were drawn in. Yeah, I mean, especially when she is gonna end up talking about chopsticks as well. Some would say that her discussions in regards to the chopsticks were even more sophisticated than the mystery genre. She can talk about the history of chopsticks making like for days, She was apparently so well versed that even Anju, who had a vast knowledge of the subject, was impressed.
確かにな。嵐の孤島に洋館に不気味な一族。そこに雨宿りの探偵とくりゃ、もうお膳立てが揃ったも同然だぜ。
ご安心を。どんな難事件であっても解決してお見せしますので。それが探偵の務めです。
頼もしいじゃないか。むしろ何か怪事件が起こってほしいものだね。犠牲者役はごめん被るが。
Yeah, you better. You better not. Who knows what would happen? Like, who are going to be the first victims?
あなた不謹慎です。
まあ人間のミステリーの歴史なんてほんの100年足らず。そのトリックもアイデアもほんの数種の焼き直しですでに描くべきことなどありません。いかなる不可能犯罪、密室殺人が起ころうとも、すでに類型化されているどれかのトリックを形を変えただけに過ぎないのですから。
Only a century old. Can't say that I know that much about the history of the mystery genre. I do remember reading about some of the stuff, like one of the first, quote unquote, one of the first murder mysteries, to say the least. I think you could say that it is one of Edgar Allan Poe's stories. Like, one of them is a murder mystery, although I cannot say that I know the name of it.
まあそれでもミステリーが読み物として現代でも通用するのは、古典もろくすっぽ読まない付け焼き場の自称マニアが自分の不勉強ゆえに知らない古典トリックをさも新鮮であるかのように勘違いして大騒ぎしてるだけなんですが。
If one can help but gape at this imposing claim, even an aged critic has said it, and that would have been one thing. But it showed incredible boldness for a young person like her to state that so strongly.
ミステリーなんてもう半世紀も前に終わったジャンルなんです。私に言わせればですが。でも不勉強なバカばっかりのおかげで私は探偵面ができるというわけです。
それを言ったら、恋愛なんてシェイクスピアの時代に完成されてて、以後は読む価値もないってことになるぜ。
How ignorant.
そうですね。じゃあロミオとジュリエットさえ読んどけば恋愛なんてもう理解できたも同然ってことじゃないんですか？
Yeah, right.
そんなわけねえさ。本は読んだ数を競うものでもねえが。
And I would have to argue for Romeo and Juliet being the be-all end-all of romances and such. Nah, it's...
さりとて、これで十分だと威張るもんでもねえ。過去の古典の話ばかりで新書を読まねえのは、いわゆる悪しき解雇主義じゃねえのか。それこそ読書をサボる年寄りどもの言い訳だと思うぜ。
And you're talking as if humans are not able to create like good works in similar fashion to the old people who have created works like a long time ago. And I guess by that logic, if you were to try and write a murder mystery yourself, it would suck. And if you were to compare to the perfected detectives, you yourself are inferior to them. So...
そうですね。私もバトラさん程度には本を読まないと言いまかされちゃいそうです。
Yeah. Maybe you should start with Shingensaku.
俺本なんか読まねえし。
Beller chuckled. But Eka knew from the previous game that Beller was actually quite an avid reader. so his words felt like more of a challenge.
そんなにも推理自慢ならクイズとかパズルとかは得意そうだね。
ああ、マリアさ、ほらクイズとかの本持ってなかったっけ？
Like one of those sheep and wolf puzzles. Thinking out that Erika's arrogant statement had made the atmosphere a little tense, George smoothly changed the subject. By now, it was more than clear that she wasn't the charming guest she had appeared to be. Maria pulled a book out of her bag that had quizzes and puzzles written in it, and started posing them to everyone. Okay then. It might have looked as though it would become a peaceful quiz party, but of course that wasn't what happened. In credit to all her big talking, Erika managed an impressive ratio of correct and immediate answers. Erika took complete control. Yeah, I mean, at least leave others some chances. Don't be solving those puzzles like before, like solving all of our puzzles. Her bragging began to escalate more and more. George saw he regretted the choice he had made when changing the subject. I mean, it's Erika. Like, whatever subject you're talking about, she's gonna dampen the mood anyway. And the question, how many matches would you need for a tournament with 107 teams, was answered instantly by Erika.
これは問題というより知識です。参加チームから1を引いた数が必要な試合数という公式がありますので、まあ例題の4チームなら3試合、8チームなら7試合という数字を見た時点で法則性に気づいて当然ですが。エリカすごい。
エリカお姉ちゃんでしょ。言ってごらん。
エリカお姉ちゃんすごい。
大したもんだな。なるほどな。自称探偵は伊達じゃねえってわけだ。
まあ探偵を気取るつもりならこの程度は。
すごいね。きっと将来は本物の探偵になれると思うよ。
まあもうそのつもりですが。
And the cousins all fought about the answers to questions, but Erika always answered first. I also thought that it was a bit rude for Erika to say the answers out loud, while people were thinking, instead of keeping them to herself. Yeah. But since Erika was a guest, Rosa decided against mentioning it. It was less of a competition and more like trying to flaunt her intelligence in front of everyone. To say that I'm the smartest, and no matter how you think, it doesn't matter, I'm the smartest. Like, it doesn't matter to her that other people are trying to answer or are even answering in the first place. As long as she answers them first, it will tell us that she is the smartest. That's what she's doing here. In truth, Erika was perfectly aware of this when she answered the question instantly. Each time, she would grin broadly, as though saying, is it really taking all this long to solve such an easy problem?
エリカちゃんは名探偵さんなんだから、あまり本気にならなくてもいいんじゃない？
そうですね。子供向けの問題なのにムキになってしまいました。気をつけますので、次の問題をお願いします。
よーし、今度は負けねえぞ。マリア、次の問題を頼む。
大きなチーズが1個あります。それをナイフで1回切り分けると2つになります。では8個に切り分けるには最低何回切ればいいでしょう？
The lowest number of slices you can make to cut into 8 parts.
あ、僕はこれ知ってるよ。
Oh.
だから黙ってよっかな。
George, acting like the adult he was, set up a mood that would prevent people from answering right away, even if they knew the answer. In effect, sending a warning to Eric. Well, okay. May I ask what this cheese looks like? It seemed that Eric understood, and she averted her gaze, snorting derisively.
8個なら4回で切り分ければよいのでは？バカね。それが答えだったら問題にならないじゃない。
そういうことだな。こういうのは想定の回数より少なくできるものと相場が決まっている。しかしどうすればいいやら。
ああ、わかったわかった。こりゃチーズだからできることだな。
そうね。バースデーケーキでこれをやったら大喧嘩になるわね。
そやな。チーズならともかくケーキを切るにはその切り方じゃあかんな。
You might be able to do this with cheese, but you never cut a cake like this. So there will be a difference between cheese and a cake that will make it so that you can cut it in 8 parts. Well, cheese is... It is a lot more solid than a cake. Maybe in the sense you can grab a piece of the cake much easier than it is to grab a piece of the cheese yourself. Maybe. Or...
みんな答え分かってんのかよ。くそ、分かんねえの俺だけかよ。
あー、わかったぜ。なるほどね。3次元で考えなきゃダメなんだ。
うわ、ジェシカまで。わかんねえ。どうすりゃいいんだ。
マリア、答えわかるよ。
Well, that isn't fair. That's because you already know the answer from before. You already done your puzzle. There.
ここに書いてあるもん。
こら、マリアだって答え見るまでわからなかったでしょ。わかる？バトラ君。
なるほど。私にもわかりました。これはチーズだからこそできることですな。
うえ！南條先生まで分かっちゃったのかよ。ひょっとして俺だけ？俺だけが分かってない？
Oh, Professor Layton, help me here. Okay, let me say this. I think that the form of the cheese is important right over here. Actually, let me move it like right over here. There you go. Like, you can do whatever you want with the cheese, right? I assume that... Well, I mean, you could try... Like, I don't know what the name of the cheese is, but... You can slice them... I'm not talking about this particular puzzle, but... The cheese that you put on sandwiches and such. Those kinds of cheeses. Like, if you were to bend them, maybe, and... like, that way you would make, like, fewer cuts. If you are to bend them and then cut it like that. For example, if you were to have like a square cheese, and if you were to like use one slice on it, you would have like 2 parts. But if you were to bend it and say that you have like 1 slice, you would still have 2 parts. Like if you were to bend it, because I guess that is what the Jessica was trying to say over here about thinking dimensionally, like trying to move the cheese like that. Like if you were to bend it like again, maybe. You have like 4 layers, and you cut one slice. How much is that? That's still 2 parts. Like if you were to bend it, hold on, let me use like another paper. Like this can actually help me a little bit more to visualize this. You bend it once. You bend it twice. You bend it another time over here. Now I have a smaller piece of paper. And if you were to slice it, yeah, you still get like 2 parts. Okay, in which case I'm gonna have to think of it differently.
バトラさんの頭も少し火を通せばチーズみたいに柔らかになりそうですね。
ナイフは0回で手でちぎれるとかそういう答えじゃないんだろ？
なわけねえぜ。ナイフ以外では切れないチーズってことで。
チーズを立体的に想像するんだよ。難しいなら紙ナプキンの裏に絵を描いてみるのもいいかもね。
大きなチーズが1個あるんだろ？
Hold on a second. Unless... Oh, wait, actually, hold on. Wait, the one that I tore apart, it broke in 3 pieces, not 2. Did I do that wrong? Unless if you... Okay, well, in which case, let me try this again. Hold on. Because Erika did say flexible there. Maybe that is another hint. I'll do it again. Bend it once, bend it twice, bend it 3 times, bend it 4 times. I think I'm gonna need like a scissors for this one. 4 times, 5 times, and let me go grab like some scissors. Alright. And if I were to cut it like this, I need some extra force for this one. 5. Okay, so I bend that like 5 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Three, 4, 5 parts. I'm bending like 5 parts. Does that mean that I have to bend it like 8 times in order to get like 8 slices? So yeah, you actually can do this like 1 slice, as long as you bend the cheese the way I did it, like right over here.
それをナイフで8つに。ナイフは直線じゃなきゃ切っちゃダメ？
そうよ。ナイフは直線に切るだけ。まあでもヒントね。切り方は直線にじゃなきゃダメだけど、どこを切るかは自由なのよ。
どうやってナイフを入れればいいか、いろいろ想像してみろ。
少々ひねくれたやり方を想像した方がいいだろうな。バトラ君のお手並みを拝見だ。
You have a large piece of cheese. How many times must you cut it with a knife to make 8 pieces? It's only that you could do it in 4 cuts. Can be done in even fewer cuts than that. The hint said that it was something that could be done because it was cheese. If it was birthday cake, you really wouldn't be allowed to do this.
Cheese. チーズだからできる技。おう。おうおうおうおうおう。
Oh! That was a good oh right there.
わかったわかった。すっかり騙されたぜ。頭が家庭とダメだな。
ようやくひらめいたようですね。それが正解だといいのですが。
チーズはナイフ以外では切れないんだよな。ナイフは直線だけで切るんだよな。それ以外に何も条件はないよな。なあ。
特にない。
よっしゃ、間違いない。かー、ひでえ問題だぜ。これはまるで謎々だ。
上から切るばかりが脳じゃないってことだぜ。上から2回切って4分割。その状態で側面から切れば上段と下段に分かれて4分割が倍の8分割。
立体で考えないと出せない答えだね。つまり正解は3回さ。
え、そうなのか？俺1回だと思ってたけど。
そらどんな魔法や。いくらなんでも1回は無理や。
Yes, you can.
これは謎々じゃなくて普通に算数的な問題よ。
え、おお、そうなのか。3回ってのはすぐに思いついたんだが、それじゃ簡単すぎて問題にならないと思ってひねりすぎたか。
バトラの答えの方が5分の答えより少ない。バトラが正解？ええ、そうです。バトラさんが正解です。正解は1回です。
I guess so. But I was happy that someone had confirmed his answer. However, at some point, Erika's face had lost its cheeriness.
私以外に1回と答えられる人間がいて、それがよりにもよってあなたとは。
Really? Are you for real?
エリカも答えは1回なのかよ。どうやらお前も相当ひねくれてるみたいだな。
1個のチーズと聞いて、その形状を決めつけるのは実に愚かしいことですので。
Yeah, I mean, Maria stated herself, there were no rules. Therefore, I can imagine the cheese however I want. I mean, okay, you cannot really imagine the cheese as a dinosaur, although it would be pretty cool to see a dinosaur made out of cheese, like a cheese dinosaur statue. But no, like the fact that it can be any shape, it kind of make me think of the cheese slices that you put on sandwiches. And I don't know, I guess if you are to have like a big enough one, like a square one, and then bend it a little bit, and then you put like one slice, and then bam, you get like more parts than just two.
できるわけないわ。お兄ちゃんの勘違いでしょ。3回未満でどうやって8等分するのよ。
愚かしや人の子よ。8つに分けろとは言っているが、等分にしろとは問うていない。
I mean, that's also one.
それにしたって不可能でしょ。ナイフ以外の方法で切るの？
No. I mean, granted, I did use scissors, but that's because the paper is really thick when you bend it like so many times, and I didn't want to use a knife.
ナイフ以外では切れない。ナイフは直線に切らねばならないと条件がある。しかし逆に言えばそれ以外に条件はない。いや、そもそもチーズの形さえも示されてはいない。
そうか。みんなは大きなチーズが1個って聞いてカマンベールみたいな平べったい円筒状のものを想像してたのか。俺は朝食のトーストの上に乗せるスライスチーズを想像していたぜ。
Yeah, I guess Beller was on the same wavelength as me.
ナイフで切り分けるような立派なチーズとは普段縁がねえからよ。
チーズの形状に条件は示されませんでした。出題者のミスです。おそらくマリアさんのその本にはいわゆる平べったい円筒状チーズの図面があるはずです。ある。ほら。
Well, in that case, Maria, what you should have done was to show us the picture of the cheese, since, like, having the shape of the cheese was part of the puzzle. If the picture was not there, then we could have just imagined any shape we want, which is what we assumed was the case. As Erika had guessed, the book Maria held had an illustration of a piece of cheese, just as Erika had described. With cheese this shape, 3 slices really would be the correct answer. They cut it in an A+ pattern from the top to make 4 pieces. Then cut it from the side to double that and make 8 pieces. However, since this illustration hadn't been shown, the interpretation of the cheese had been left to the answer. Yeah.
確かにそうね。出題の時点でチーズの形状やその柔らかさなどには触れられていなかったわ。
そういうことです。
Yeah. And again, if we're talking about Battler's example of how the cheese looked, like the one you put in on a toast or something, it is flexible. You can, okay, at some point it will break by itself. It's not that durable. It's not as durable as paper, but still. If you have a big enough cheese, like slice of cheese, then like that you put on a toast, you will bend it like a lot more and get a lot of parts out of that.
どうやらチーズも頭も柔らかかったのはバトラさんの方だったようです。
わけわかんねえぜ。スライスチーズだったらどうしてナイフ1回で8個に分けられるんだよ。
お手元のペーパーナプキンで試してみたらどうですか？これをスライスチーズだと思って。
つまりよ、こうしてさ、蛇腹に折るわけさ。何回折れば8個になるか
な。Well, I may be wrong on this one, but 8?
6回です。
6 times. 5? In which case, maybe the way Beller bended the cheese was a little bit different than the way I bended it. I think. Look at all this paper that I have right over here that I cut. I can make like confetti out of this. Woo! Okay, I probably should not make a mess out of this like right now. To fold it accordion style, you alternate between upward and downward folds. Oh. Okay. How does this work exactly? Oh, I see. Okay, now it feels like I'm doing a little bit of origami over here. 1, 2. And then you bend it like this. And then you bend it like this. And now I've created an accordion. How many parts is this? I'm not sure. I see. Okay. I guess so. I mean, yeah, it is. I guess in the end, I imagined bending those like incorrectly. Once we've done this 6 times, it looks like the side of an accordion. I mean, I guess so. Puzzles. It's not always that puzzles only have like one way of solving them. There are multiple ways of solving them.
普通のチーズならこんなに折ったらそこでちぎれちまうところだが、ナイフ以外じゃちぎれないことになってんだろ。
ええ、問題ありません。ナイフ以外では決して切れぬ魔法のチーズですから。
Oh. Okay, so we're using that kind of logic as well, eh? Okay. I guess I was thinking of a cheese that, like, okay, I did say that cheese like that would end up, like, ripping apart by itself because of the force that you put in bending that cheese, like, that many times. So I was thinking, hey, the bigger the cheese, the harder it would be to bend. Like, the harder it would be to rip apart while you're bending it. But, no. I guess if we're talking about a magic cheese, then no matter how many times you bend it, it will not tear apart by itself unless you use a knife on it. You can bend it like 100 times, it would still not rip apart. Only if you use a knife, you would be able to cut it.
その畳んだのも真上からバサッと一刀両断にすりゃ。
確かに8分割だ。
Yeah, there you go.
ちょっと待てよ。これじゃ当分にはなってないぜ。
出題者は8つに切り分けろとしか言ってません。当分は条件に含まれませんでした。まあ折り方を工夫すれば当分も可能ですが、お頭の固い皆さんには説明が混乱するので省きます。
I mean, you Noby, you are on the right track, but you weren't quite there yet. You should really step up your game.